What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EV. This one is the LT, finished off in Galaxy Gray, and has an MSRP just over $51,000. Let's get right into Chevy's small crossover electric car, see what this thing has to offer. For this 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EV, this is going to be powered by an 85 kilowatt hour battery. It also has 150 kilowatt fast charging capabilities. Overall curb weight on this one is 4,900 pounds. This one is also front wheel drive, so it'll pack 220 horsepower. 0 to 60 time is 7.7 seconds. And then if you do opt for the all-wheel drive version, that bumps horsepower up to 300 and is 0 to 60 time at 5.8 seconds. With this front wheel drive one, the range is also going to be around 319 miles. Moving on to the exterior styling with the 2025 Equinox EV, this paint color for one is really cool. It's kind of a pearly purple gray, really unique style. As you can tell, you have a daytime running light up above along with those turn signals. I like how the whole running light will light up. You have the Chevy logo, you're going to see a forward-facing camera, a small grille opening to provide some cooling, and then your actual headlights are going to be all down below. This has some plastic trim with a carbon look, and then you can see some more vents throughout the bumper to provide some airflow through the front. We have some gloss trim all down below with more openings, parking sensors, and then a cool design for the overall front bumper. On the hood, you're going to get some sharp body lines fading their way into the windshield. It's a pretty sharp looking crossover, not going to lie. Pretty cool looking. Yeah, body colored on these front fenders, and then you can also see a really good look at these wheels. They're finished off in a two-tone color. These are 21-inch diameter, and I definitely like the split 5-spoke with that color combo. You have some sleek body lines throughout the side, the Equinox logo with a blue E for EV. Then you can see some gray trim along with some chrome trim, and then the pop-up door handles. So really nice when you walk up to the car, they will automatically pop out, or of course when you lock and unlock it. You got body colored on the mirror with an integrated camera, chrome trim down below the windows, and then all black trim throughout the windows themselves. We have some crossbars up above, and you can see a panoramic sunroof. For the side profile, has a really good look, nice and proportional. Then you have some sleek lines that make it look very sharp. There's a black trim piece cutting down into the rear glass, and it definitely gives this a sleek look. Got an integrated spoiler with a shark fin antenna, the rear wiper, and then I love the clear and black design for these LED taillights. Once lit up, of course, they'll be all in the red color. Really cool animation plays on them as well. Down below, we have some gloss black trim, all of your parking sensors, more trim throughout the center, Chevy badge and the name, and then another look at that very nice LED bar. Taking a look at the key fob, we're going to get lock, unlock, remote start, and the tailgate release. Chevy badge on the back, and with it locked, all I have to do is walk up to it. It is going to automatically pop out for the door handles, and we can check out this interior. You're going to have the really cool look with the black as well as the light gray and then blue accents throughout it. Now when it's dark out, throughout the blue, you're actually going to see green ambient lighting up, which is a really unique touch. We have some black material and then this nice light gray color for the padded armrests, grab handle, memory seating along with all your controls down below, and then a little bit of storage in the door panel. You're going to see power controls on the seats, and then once again the nice color combinations, a little bit of fabric and perforated leather throughout the center. Really nice making our way up, and then we have more of this fabric surrounding the two different leather type materials. Black on the headrest, leather wrapped steering wheel finished in black, and then we have some white contrast stitching with some silver accents, and then the Super Cruise up above. Now inside the 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EV, all I have to do is press my foot on the brake, and the whole car has fired up. All the electronics were roar to life. You got a 17.7-inch screen in the center, and then an 11-inch screen for the gauges. On the left side, we are going to get cruise control settings. You can also see your Super Cruise, and then over on the right side, we have a few Bluetooth and audio controls, heated steering wheel, and then this icon, you can configure the screen. So you can change the view a little bit. We got a nice nav system. You can see some of the cruise control settings, and then a little bit more simple design, and then back into this one. So pretty unique designs overall. I think it looks really good. You have your gear selector over on the right side, and then over on the left, you're going to see the windshield wiper stock. And then this far button over here is to do the wiper blades. Down below, we have one of your air vents with some of that blue accent in white, and then way down, you're going to see the park. We have the lane keeping auto hold as well as the tailgate. You have more of that nice color combo all across the dash. You can see a heads-up display system, and then more of that all over on this right side. Now within the blue on the doors as well as the dash at night, that's actually going to light up with a cool green ambient lighting. Moving on to the center screen, similar to what you're used to seeing on several different Chevys, this home icon will get you right here. We have all these massive tiles you're able to go through. We do have different drive modes. You can go through a few of those. You also have different settings you can view within the car, go through all sorts of different items. You're going to be able to view your climate in a better screen, all sorts of different zones. And then you have some settings over here for one pedal driving and then a few other icons. We'll get your full screen nav. You also have more settings right here that you're able to adjust. And then climate controls are also going to be down below. So not too hard to just quickly gain access to change everything. You have your temperature, heated and ventilated seating, and then a few more controls there with volume on the top left. Taking a look at the cameras, you have a nice forward view along with a top down. We can go through a few different ones over on this left side. You can have some more settings and things like that. And then of course when I go into reverse, you're going to get that backer camera with a top down view as well. There's climate vents down below, and then you do get physical climate controls. So I can easily toggle the temperature on the left and right side. You also have fan speed, some defrost, and the on off. There's going to be wireless phone charging down below. There's extra storage all down below that. A couple USBs. You have more storage all throughout the center with this blue accent, and then more of this light gray color. Center storage area, pretty large. So pretty nice for quite a lot of different items. And then over on the right side, we have a pretty good sized glove box as expected. One last look at the interior. This is a pretty futuristic interior. I think it feels pretty cool for what it's supposed to be. You have a nice use of materials, especially in this trim level, and I definitely like all the color contrasts. You're gonna get a massive panoramic roof up above with all those controls, and then the rear view mirror has the camera along with the standard mirror. And then moving on to the rear seat space, just grabbing the door handle and opening it up. Door panel's finished off just like we saw up front with all of these same colors and blue accents. And then the seats even have the same materials, the black fabric, and then the smooth leather material. You're just making its way all up the backrest. This can seat 3 people. And then if we pull down the center, we have a nice armrest with cup holders. You're gonna get climate vents back here and heated seats with plugs. There's also storage behind these front seats. And then you can grab this lever up above and fold these nice and flat to maximize cargo space. Hopping into the back seat with the 2025 Equinox EV. So at 5'11", I'm sitting here pretty good. I have a couple inches of headroom. There is a nice cutout to give you that extra headroom. With the driver's seat at my height, I have really good knee room and foot room. The seat base does feel a little small and there's no extra recline. So it is a little tight feeling, mainly because the seat base is just really short. So wouldn't mind maybe a little bit more comfortable bottom. However, maybe little kids or something like that, you can fit car seats in here, not too big of an issue. So overall, for a more compact crossover, I guess it's pretty fine, just definitely is on the small side in the back. Moving on to the cargo space, there's gonna be a button right down below. We can just press that once and you're gonna get that power liftgate opening up. Now behind these rear seats, you're gonna have a cargo volume coming in close to 26.4 cubic feet. You have a nice flat load floor area. There's a little bit of a cubby on the far right side, and then you can grab the base and lift this up. We have our charge cable down below with extra hidden storage space. And then from here, you can easily grab these seats and we can actually fold them down from the back. So pretty easy overall to work with. And then now we're gonna have 57.2 cubic feet of cargo volume, truly maximizing this car, making it pretty useful for people as well as items. And then we can just press the button up there and automatically close down the hatch. All right, so setting off now in the 2025 Equinox EV. Now it's crazy that the all-wheel drive one does have a lot more power and is significantly more powerful than the front-wheel drive one. With that said, in sport mode, yeah, it's definitely not a fast car. It's quick enough, I'd say, for just your typical normal vehicle. However, it doesn't really blow your socks off at all, like, you know, we've kind of come to being used to with EVs. Nonetheless, though, it drives really quiet. That is one thing that I actually like about this quite a lot. Even going much quicker, as you'll see, this thing is ultra quiet as far as road noise, wind noise, and things like that. It's got a unique view out. It's got a very long windshield. It's a little narrow feeling, given this is a pretty small car, smaller than I expected. Even hitting those bumps, you know, takes it pretty tough. And for being the Equinox, you know, I would expect this to be a little bit bigger vehicle. I feel like they've made this a lot smaller than the normal Equinox that we have known for many, many years. But getting up to speed in the sport mode, that's pedal to the floor. Yeah, definitely not that quick. And being front wheel drive, you're gonna get a little bit of torque steer. The steering wheel kind of wobbles left and right. So the little pad on the left, without touching the pedals, I can hold that, and we're slowing down and regenerating the brakes. And we also have the one pedal driving that you can turn on, where when you take your foot off the throttle, it's automatically slowing down. So there's some pretty good drive modes in here. It gets a little louder in sport mode too. But overall driving, you know, it's pretty comfortable sitting up in the front. These seats have really good maneuverability. Overall, they're really nicely padded. Now, while, like I was saying, this windshield feels narrow, this A-pillar is really not in your way, but it's definitely right there. However, I think it's pretty easy to see around it, so it just might take a little getting used to that A-pillar. These windows, they do well on the right side to see through the little windows. However, this window, obviously, I can't really see through it. Mirrors are a little small on the left. This is really close. It's like right here in my face. So it's definitely a little interesting how this car is proportioned on the inside. It's a smaller car, again, than I expected. When you are driving it quickly, taking turns and everything, it drives really smooth. Like I said, it's so quiet. We're going 50. I mean, I could just whisper. This thing is so quiet. So that is something I like. Even with the 21-inch wheels, it is super smooth. The bumps are being absorbed very well. It's just a smooth ride. Good visibility. I love the little panoramic roof as well. And, you know, when you look at the price range starting in the 30s, you know, more basic one, you know, you're gonna have the same power as this one. Not a bad way to go. I feel like if I'm gonna spend 50 grand though, I would definitely go for all-wheel drive just to eliminate a little bit of that torque steer and get the extra power. And range, you know, honestly, pretty good. We're at 227 miles and we're close to 70% charge. So I feel like this is something that overall, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get this exact range and this exact power. And you can have, honestly, an affordable electric crossover that's sized well enough to be a good smaller family vehicle, or maybe just an individual vehicle or a two-person kind of vehicle. So I feel like price-wise, this is a really good blend, and the use of materials, things you're touching and seeing. I mean, this screen is pretty cool looking. You know, it all fits the interior really well. This seems to be a nicely appointed car depending on how you spec it. And provided you don't need the fastest car out there, I mean, it's still quick enough, just like any typical four-cylinder crossover. So it's not like you're not gonna be able to merge into traffic. Just, you might have to plan your gaps a little bit, just depending on how quickly you're trying to get moving. But driving it seems nice. You know, the armrests are good, the storage solutions are really good, and I like, honestly, the redundancy with the climate controls. A little bit too redundant sometimes, having 3 different ways to do it right now, but the fact that they're just simple, and a lot of this, while it looks techy and fancy, is actually really simple at the end of the day, I feel like that's a pretty good plus. You even got a on-off button up there, which is kind of cool to play with. So setting off now in the Equinox EV, my honest thoughts, pedal to the floor. Yeah, so my only complaint with the front-wheel drive version is definitely that it's just not fast. When you drive an electric car, I think the coolest thing about them is that they just move. So all-wheel drive would be the one I would want. However, like I said, you know, this is still pretty fine for the typical owner. Now, when you look at pricing, obviously 51 grand for this very nicely equipped LT. You could get into a Chevy Trax or the normal Equinox for at least 10 grand cheaper to go for a gas version. So obviously you're paying a premium to get into an EV. That is the decision, you know, in the hands of the consumer if you want to spend the money to get the electric version. However, when you look at the spectrum of pricing, this a little bit more toned down into the low 40s maybe. Honestly, you're getting a pretty nice electric car for the price point. Still not going to break any land speed records with the power. However, you're getting something that's well-sized, well-equipped. You have good cargo area in it and a pretty good range. You know, I've been able to drive this a little bit and not really have the range anxiety like vehicles where you start with 200 miles of range. So the fact that this small vehicle already has over 300, it's not that crazy to charge it. You know, this is a super livable EV as long as you're not doing, obviously, cross-country trips, which most EVs are not doing that. But this could be your maybe only car, honestly, and I don't think you'd really have that big of a issue with going EV if you go for this one, due to the fact that the range is pretty good. I mean, you can do, you know, 200 miles in a day, which is a lot of driving in one day. And this is going to be able to get you there, get you home, and then you'll be able to charge it up, no big deal, at your home and be good to go for the next day. So I feel like they've done a good job kind of prioritizing what you want in an electric car, which is range. You know, that to me is the biggest issue. You know, we have these press cars that are electric And my goal is to just drive it enough to get what I need to be filmed, but not enough to have to charge it and do all that. This doesn't really give me that mindset to where I have to think about it. I can just drive it and not worry about it so much. So I think they've done a good job just doing that. And then the overall fit and finish, the style, it's a cool interior. It's sporty. And it's a lot nicer than a lot of other typical crossovers. So I think Chevy's done a cool job with that. I don't think, like I said, there's many drawbacks with this. I think, you know, it's very competitive in the market comparing to many other $50,000 smaller crossover EVs. And I think this is definitely something to put on the list. They have a really good spectrum from very affordable up to, you know, a quicker version, an RS or something like that. So I think they've done a good job just kind of giving you a very well-rounded package without going crazy in price, you know, making this some $70,000 vehicle when it doesn't have to be. So not a bad option if you're in the EV market and you're looking for something without breaking the bank and you're going to get a lot of bang for the buck. This seems to be that sort of vehicle. So that is the 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EV, the LT. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.